condensation line had clogged and was backing up in the house. Unfortunately, it broke away from where it was attached, and you can see all these roots have grown up around it, and those roots started to grow up in it. It's right down here. You can kind of see it there. I'm inserting a screwdriver into it. The issue is those roots started to grow into it. So I was able to pull those out. Exposed wires here. I may cover that back up, but I don't want to cover this up because I want good flow out of it. I'm probably going to cut it just a little bit just to get it at a perfect circle and insert another little bit smaller pot that comes up, or at least further out to mark it better. But I don't have much to work with. Sometimes, especially on these old houses like mine, that'll break off right up against the slab, but it should still be intact. In fact, that one, as you can see there, is split right up to the slab. So I'm gonna have to find something to insert into that because I wanna make it really hard for those roots to get back in there. But I'm gonna give myself an easy place to check this periodically, make sure that doesn't happen again. I always clean this out, but we had such a dry season, those roots grew up and got in there faster. The AC back on this was clogged and it was leaking into the house. So it had backed up into the unit itself. All right, this is an older unit and I've got the door off because I am redoing the walls right now. But that's some of the water that came out. I'll show you where it came out from. Far in here. So as that water, if it can't drain here, it'll back up. And for my unit, it'll drip out of here. And then I have, wherever that pot turns, underneath this unit, I've got a wide bucket to kind of collect that. Not the best option, but like I said, we're about to replace all of this stuff that's in the house. We're just trying to keep it going long enough until we finish the walls. If this backs up, often you can fix that. You run your CO2 cartridge down on here. You have a seal because you don't want your hand on that CO2 cartridge because it'll get really cold. So now I have a handle. Now I've got a trigger. And if that was filled up with water, you would hold that down as best you can and then build up pressure. And then that'll blow everything out. For the most part, that'll work. And if you do it periodically before the roots really get in there, if it's just dirt or if you get some of that slime mold that builds up in there, it'll blow that stuff out. So I'm just going to slide that back on. And now I'm going to pull that up a little bit. We are back in business for now. I can turn it back on. So the AC's on right now. You can see water has built up around that condensation line, so we know it's coming out. What I'm going to do is pour the rest of that copper sulfate in there. I'm going to cover it up a little bit so my dogs don't come over here and get a hold of it. So I'm going to cover this up with a piece of plywood. Also need to go get some electrical tape and cover up that exposed wire. But for right now, I'm going to pour this on, cover it up with some plywood so the dogs can't get in here, and let that kill off those roots.